Today, Moria Zimbabwe, thank you so much. 6 minutes after the hour of 10, I'm aware of what happened last week. There was problems here and there, and I'm sure it is rectified now. I'm hoping that today we have a good show. Last week, I was talking to Lindsay, one of the upcoming artists there in Zimbabwe, playing reggae, Zim Danso, I'm told, Zim Danso, and we had a good time. But unfortunately, we couldn't have the debate because of few technical issues that came to naught. But anyhow, I'm hoping today everything is fine. First and foremost, may I let you know that Honorable Khupe won't be with us today. He sent me a message yesterday saying that he has taken the wife and the family for a holiday, and he will be back next week with us. Khupe, enjoy your holiday. You definitely deserved it. Enjoy yourself. Zvisinei ndakamirira vamwe vadare vedu kuti vauye pano. Regai ndichingamidze vandinawo pari zvino. Nhasi vaita nhangaruvanzi. Mukoma Benford, maswera sei? Ko nhasi runhare rwenyu mari kuita sei?
Ruchapika manje.
Ruchapika manje. Alright, no pare right. Makadiko ku America kuri sei?
Ku America kuri right, kuti tingochingamidza muri weZimbabwe tichiti kwamuri makadiko.
Aha, aiwa, tinofara chose. Handisi kuziva kuti mukoma Benford makateerera here pandanga ndiri kutaura pandichibvunza zvangu. I had a simple question that someone came to me and say, as a man yourself, what do you want most from your wife? And he gave me two answers. He said he just wanted one answer out of those two. You cannot say both of them. He wants one answer. What would you like from your wife? Love or respect? What would you say yourself?
Respect.
Thank you so much. I like it, Mkoma Benford, when you come up with one word answer like that. Unlike your colleague Wamoyo, who wants to run around the bush. Anyhow, thank you so much. Mkoma Wilbert.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
hello, Benford.
Mkoma Benford. Varipo zvavo. Maswera sei Mkoma Wilbert?
I'm fine. How are you, DJ? How is how?
No, Hull is fine. How is Manchester?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It was nice and sunny today.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Now, if I may ask you the same question, Mukoma, what do you think is the most important thing that your wife can give you? Love or respect?
It has to be love.
It has to be. It has to be love. Thank you so much. I caught you unaware there.
No moment's hesitation there. It has to be love.
Sally, how are you in South Africa?
Good evening, DJ Sodza. Hi, Wilbert. Hello, Benford. Hello, Zimbabweans, wherever you are. If you're in Cape Town, please be careful of the fires. Don't light fires. The wind is blowing so badly, and it's freezing cold.
It's freezing cold. Sally, I know that I know that this question is for men, but what do you think men craves from a woman? Love or respect?
Seriously, I don't know.
Right, you don't know. Now, I didn't expect. I don't expect you to know, but because this question was for men, what they want from a woman, and I don't want anyone to say both.
The beer and the woman to walk in naked holding the beer. That's what they want from a woman.
Okay. What about what about barbecue as well?
Yeah, naked barbecue and the woman holding the beer and doing the work and barbecuing the meat.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's fine.
And what do you want in a man, Charlie?
What do I want in a man?
Yeah.
I want a man to know that he's a man. And honesty.
Right.
Yeah.
Honesty. Okay. Again, this one is saying, in real life, men were created with different desires from women. Women mostly desire to be loved and men need to be respected. I must say, I normally don't do this, but I must say, when this question was posed to me, the first thing that came to my mind was respect. I feel that if a woman respects me, that's the utmost. I mean, I cannot ask for anything other than respect. I know some of the things comes in, but respect is the most foremost. Anyhow, sorry, we are not discussing that. I was just
a minute. If you have love, you have respect.
Okay. All right. Anyhow, I don't know. Maybe let me start with you, Mkoma Benford, sir. Mkoma Benford, you saw what happened with the MDC. They gathered together and they signed this, what they call alliance, a movement thing. What did you make of that? I mean, I'm failing to understand. Does this mean that they are now together?
Not necessarily, DJ Sodza. If you followed what happened soon after that, we had the Tendai BT group saying they are not yet in the alliance. So I don't understand what happened there. It was just for the media. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to please some Western country donors. That's why they had to meet. But it turns out that the meeting doesn't mean anything. If you listen to what all the major players that were there are saying, it shows nothing really happened. And it was more like all the homeboys meeting together for a gathering. The people who were just earlier on, the IB, the Watchmen, were coming back and rewriting Trangira. The third part again, follow that. Immediately after that, it appears that white from the bigger base, it appears they are slowly losing another base in the Matabele region with Khupe. We are even perhaps we'll see another split again of this. Probably the positive thing that was perhaps Trangirai attended the Congress. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is more significant than what is on Saturday.
All right. Mkoma teach Masquera Seiku.
Daskera ango Mkoma Sodza. Masquera mimi.
I don't know, we are hearing a bit of feedback there. Are you on hands free or something like that?
No, I'm just speaking straight to you.
All right.
On my Skype.
Okay. Okay. And you are on hands free or something? I don't know. We are just hearing some feedback. I don't know.
I'm not on hands free. I'm on a computer.
Oh, okay. All right. Masquera Seiko ku London.
Nongo shingirira pachiboya mene mimi.
Aywa, it's good. What you do like from your wife, respect or love? One or the other. I don't want to hear both.
Just say love would be better for me.
Love would be better for you. Thank you so much. Now, Mkoma teacher, please hold on there. Right. Mkoma Benford, take decision.
Yeah, ndangada kutopedzisa handiwanzi kuda kutora nguva yakareba. Basically what I can say is on Saturday there was a media show, something that was done just to appeal to the media, but with no significance. Probably I would say Changirai attending the NPP Congress probably has more significance than what happened on Saturday.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you so much, Mukoma Wilbert. This was wasting people's time. You think? What did the MDC Alliance think they did on last Saturday was wasting people's time, or maybe Mukoma Benford Kuti probably it was just trying to please the Western world so that they can get some donors. That's going far, isn't it?
I think they set themselves a deadline where they had set the meeting, but then they found later on that they could not postpone it, so they had to go ahead with the meeting, and yet everyone agreed. They had not agreed to anything, so they ended up signing a piece of paper that was blank. So just for the sake of the camera and the ceremony, which I think is a pity really, because if you are going to do something, particularly after making people wait for so long, and they've been making so much noise about this coalition, you would think they'll come up with something really concrete. So I think they've lost it, and I think this particular not was really fooled by that gathering, particularly when you're looking at MDC itself. All its senior party officials were not in it. From the Bulawayo group, there was nobody there, and then Chamisa and Mudzuri, everybody was commenting that it looks like they wish they were somewhere else. And it really doesn't. It was just the whole thing was made to look so trivial in many respects. You try to jazz it up the best you can, but this is an occasion that really never lived to its expectation.
So basically, because the next question I had to do is Guti, right? So these guys are going into the general elections next year. Are they going under one ticket or not?
I believe that people like Tendai Biti, Welshman Nuwe, and all the other small parties, they genuinely didn't want to field their own candidate for the presidential election, and that is why they are quite willing to sign on to the coalition. What they want from the coalition and the commitment from MDCT particularly is that they will agree on who stands in various constituencies, parliamentary and senatorial. And then they don't have to compete with MDCT guys. And that is where the big issue is going to be. And this is why people like the people in Matabeleland, the Khupe group, I don't want, because they know they've got those constituencies fairly secure. And I think she has got a point when she says, well, you don't need a coalition where you're strong already. We don't need a coalition in this area, and that is going to be the big issue, because the likes of Welshman Nuwe, he would not be in this alliance unless he was going to be given a clear shot at some of the parliamentary and senatorial seats.
Okay. Aywa, thank you so much, Mukoma Wilbert. Sally, may I pose the same question to you? What do you think came out of this MDC Alliance meeting that happens there last Saturday?
First of all, it wasn't a coalition. It's alliance between all the MDC, 40,000 of their factions. Okay? It had nothing with the coalition. If this was Changurai instigated, I'm really disappointed. But no, not really disappointed. I would expect it of Changurai. I mean, he's messing up left, right, and center as far as I'm concerned. And that is just, it was a joke. It was a complete and utter joke. Okay? And it doesn't bring any credit to any of the MDC factions. I mean, it just makes them a laughing stock, which is how they have been for quite a while. Okay? And it's sad. You see, this is where I compare MDC Changurai to ZANU-PF. Okay? The people inside MDC are the same as the ZANU-PF supporters. They keep on wanting Changurai as head. 2013 would have been the time to organize things. Now we've got this thing going on. And every time it ends up with MDC being a joke. And that thing was a joke. You could see it before Tendai Biti ever opened his mouth and started whining and performing and doing a dance and everything, okay? I mean, you had the big mess up in Bulawayo, okay? I mean, how do MDC supporters go and beat up other MDC supporters? I mean, seriously, what is happening? It's got to stop. Changurai must, for a change, walk and chew gum at the same time, please. By the time we get to 2018, come on. Mm-hmm. They're another joke again, and it really, it pees me off. It really does. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so much fighting between all these things, and then to have that alliance thing, okay, and then Beatty to come out and open his mouth, and then Khupe and them to get beaten up and everything and blah. Oh, come on, people, please.
Okay. Thank you, Sally. Mkomatishi, what did you make of the alliance?
I think it's a very good thing. The MDC T has come to an appreciation that it needs its former Estawell colleagues. The grandiose of the bringing a whole lot of people and making it sound like it is the grand coalition the nation is waiting for. I think that was pulling wool on people of Zimbabwe, which was not good. I think on the other hand, the impression that was being created was that everyone is coming under the umbrella of the MDC party, which is not true. So the other thing that I felt was wrong was to have it all at the Great Zimbabwe grounds and make it a rally style kind of thing. That's negotiating in public. As far as I'm concerned, if at the end of the day they all said the negotiation that it be concluded, so what was the point of all that gleeds that they put on a show for? You see, so to me that was wrong. And what PDP has done is to refuse to be part of deception, because they've immediately debunked it as not what they signed up to. So then the question becomes, why was it done anyway? Because, I mean, elections are still far away next year. This is not even the campaign period. The problem with Zimbabweans is that we've all been hooked up into the ZANU-PF internal politics, where Mugabe is trying to assert himself against the simmering rebellion right across the nation, using the youth and his wife's women's league. And that's what Mugabe is going around with this youth interface. It's got nothing to do with the actual campaign. It's about Mugabe asserting himself and making sure that within ZANU-PF he's going to get the support that he will need when the actual campaign period kicks in. It's why Dr. Mjuru has said she's not going to be rushed. If we'd rushed, imagine we'd be having all these Rugare Gumbos and Mutasas in the structures and party and continuing to wield an Jew influence. And her waiting has paid off because most of the dead chaff within the party have fallen out. So for her not to turn up at that occasion, to me, again, would say a lot about why would Tsvangirai do that. He had a big ceremony signing a memorandum of understanding with the Mjuru, who is considered an essential ingredient in the transformation that we want to bring that war veteran and security sector and the previous person who was in the government into play. And that would strengthen the hand of the MDC and eventually become president. Tsvangirai becomes president. There's just something shallow about it. I don't understand why they've done that. Because they could simply do the art of diplomacy, which is do everything quietly. And I'll tell you, this is one thing I always respect about NPP, is that Mjuru likes doing things quietly and then do them properly. This is not the right thing that they did. But to think that they did that, and then you end up with a situation where your vice president is bashed for no reason. No reason in the sense that you have not achieved what you set out to achieve, which is an alliance. It's not an alliance, and Khupe is right. Because what it is an MDC reunification with a big mate to play second fiddle to Welshman Khupe. That's what she is resisting. She is not resisting the Grand Coalition. She is on record on going on various numerous women's forums with the others. She supports coalition. What she is resisting is the internal dynamics of MDC that seeks to sideline her, as happened with the appointment of Mudzuri and Chamisa to VP positions. Now Chamisa hogs the limelight. Wherever Tsvangirai is, Chamisa is there. And you can understand now you're bringing in Welshman on top of that. How is that woman supposed to feel? These are internal MDC political dynamics, just as I have explained. That Mugabe is dealing with internal ZANU-PF dynamics. It's got nothing to do with everyone outside those organizations. So I don't want to dwell too much on that because I like to be friends with Anamkoma, Febe, and others. So we move together in a proper, transparent, meaningful way that will have strategy, that will have finesse, that will have the ability to resist ZANU-PF's machine. At the moment, MDC is actually weakening itself. Some of the people that were there, like the Ngare Vumezi and the Mutambaras, are lightweight. They don't add value to MDC. And when you look at that and you're seeing that the real person that signed anything and endorsed Tsvangirai there was Welshman Khupe. So it's an MDC reunification. It would be nice to see BT going back to MDC. It would be nice to see them reach out to Mangoma and them all going back together and becoming together. But to then sideline Khupe and make it sound like she is resisting an alliance, an MDC alliance simply means MDC. And Khupe is the vice president. And she should be given that due respect. And if she feels that she's been disrespected, when you think about Tabita Khumalo is a long rivalry with Khupe within MDC. And you can see then that Tabita Khumalo is happy to see Khupe upstaged so that she can then report back to Welshman Khupe as she used to do before. These are internal politics of MDC. I hope Mkoma Feve will come and clear this up. But to say that alliance that happened on Saturday was the grand coalition that the nation is waiting, that would be lie, because Vesa and Namangoma were not there, and Namjuru were not there. PDP are now running away from it all, and all the others are saying we're still negotiating allocation of seats. It's not making sense. It's all turning into a farce. So for me, I'm saying let's appreciate the reality. These are internal dynamics of these political formations, and hopefully saying MDC Alliance was Tsvangirai trying to assert himself as the leader of the main opposition, which you all recognize him for already. He doesn't have to ask for it. He's recognized the world over as the main opposition. So there's no need for all these gamesmanship as far as I'm concerned. And it's a bit disappointing. Right now, as NPP, I'll tell you, it's already been talked. I think it's already in the public domain. What we are curious to see how they handle the Khupe debate. If they've got that level of intolerance to their own VP, we start harking back to the way Mjuru was hounded out of ZANU-PF for harassed, alleged to have done this, that, wanting to topple this, wanting, this is exactly the hallmark of it. It's got all the telltale signs of the Mjuru debacle. And would like to see MDC really getting a grip and talking to Madam Khupe and accepting that she is allowed to dissent as she has done. And sitting them all together and assuring her that Watchman Khupe in writing is not going to take your position, because that seems to me to be major contention. She needs to be reassured of her position because she's worked hard for it. When Watchman Khupe sold Trangirai out in the treason charges and then sold him out and took the name MDC away with him and Coltart and others, MDC Trangirai, as MDCT officially really is a new formation. It's not the original MDC. Khupe still has legally the original MDC. And Khupe stood by Trangirai in the whole of Matabeleland to resist that and ensure that MDC still had a big sway in Matabeleland. She's right. We can. I'm not MDC, but I look at it from an analytical point. Khupe is right. As far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
They need to handle this sensitively.
They need to have it sensitively. Zimbabwe, if you are just tuning in, we are just discussing the MDC alliance which happened last Saturday there in Zimbabwe, just trying to digest and see what was the significance of it. But anyway, thank you so much, Mkomatishi. If I may start with you on the next one. Yekutiko, what really, who went into Khupe's offices? Who were these people? Do we have any information on who these people were and where they came from?
Well, this is the speculation that is out there. Charlton Wende and Tabitha Khumalo coordinated it. And the allegation out on the word in the street, it's allegation, that's the key word, is that Charlton Wende sponsored the trip, trying to bully Khupe into accepting whatever it was that was happening on Saturday. But it wasn't Khupe only. None other than the actual national chairman of the MDC and former Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Love Momoyo, was also there. None other than the organizing Secretary General, Mr. Abednego Bebe, was also there at that meeting. So it's clearly showing that main members of their Politburo or leadership or presidium were at that meeting. And which means that they are carrying their provinces with them, because they're the major players in those provinces, and they're the people that came and kept MDC afloat when Watchman Khupe rebelled. So these are people that know what they're talking about. It's not really about Khupe alone. Khupe is just being singled out because she's the vice president. But the truth of the matter, she was there with her allies, who are also top MDC officials. So when you look at it, the allegation is that Charlton Wende sponsored the youth to go there and do that, and also then that Tabitha Khumalo coordinated in selling the information as to what was happening, where have they gathered, are they gathered now, so that these people will arrive exactly at the time when Khupe and company were in the meeting. Because these people from Harare wouldn't have guessed all that the meeting is at this particular office at this particular time and arrive at that particular time. It was well coordinated. There's no issue about whether someone sent them. Someone within MDC who knew exactly what was happening in Bulawayo did, and that would be Tabitha Khumalo. And the coordination is with the children. When that is the allegation, it sounds plausible to me. And that fact that Trangirai decided to suspend Charlton Wende actually supports that theory.
Aha, thank you so much. Right, I want to go kuna Mkoma Wilbert. Mkoma Wilbert, I know kuti you've got my contacts to Bulawayo yourself. What are they saying on the street on who attacked the Khupe, and what was the motive for that?
Well, actually, I never actually spoke to anybody about it in Bulawayo. I think the whole thing is tragic, but from what Teach was saying there, that's what I've also read, and that's what I understand as well. And it looks like the picture is emerging that those two were really the people who coordinated it. Whether Tsvangirai was informed or not, it's maybe it will become clearer later on. But in an interview with one of the, I think it was the Daily News, Tsvangirai initially denied that he didn't know anything about it. But as the interview proceeded, he was aware of that meeting, and he was not, and he did approve of the meeting going ahead. But again, this is where he has lost the plot, because you cannot bulldoze everybody into going into this coalition. At least they've got the right to sit down and discuss it among themselves if they so wish. You may say to them, no, this is where we have got to go. It's for you to persuade them, but you cannot deny them the right to have their own meeting and to discuss whether they are happy with what is going on. How does he know that all of them were actually against the coalition? So why did he have to go and disrupt it? This is where I think he lost the plot completely.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mukoma Benford, what's your reading on all this?
DJ Sodza, you see, this is where pandinenge ndichitaura navamoyo. People think we are just against the MDC as an opposition. But what we are saying is this party has no solid principles. Okay? They have no solid principles. When you have dictatorship tendencies, you cannot have a solid party. Every time Tsvangirai is opposed, or there is an opposing view, the history shows that whoever we have that opposing view is defeated. It happened with Mangoma. If you all remember when Tendai Biti said, I'm leaving the party, that was when Elton Mangoma was beaten by Mayita Ngasen. Nobody is saying they don't know who is sending those. It happened again. Keeps repeating. When they split for the first time, there was an issue where this violence tendency. People should open their eyes and see what it is, what in the who Tsvangirai is. He is another Mugabe in the making. Okay? And he will be worse than Mugabe in terms of dictatorship tendencies. And that is not what we want if we are going to replace Mugabe. And that is the first point I want to make. We might blame Wente and Bita Kumal and stuff like that, but I can assure you Tsvangirai knew what was happening. And he's trying to just find a way out of this mess. Now, that is the main point I want to make. Another point, if you look at this whole concept of how they are negotiating this coalition as a party, for example, when you say we have given the president, okay, the sole mandate to negotiate and form a coalition, there is a problem. Okay, there is a problem. You cannot give one person the entire mandate to say negotiate and come up with a coalition whatever way you want. That is why she is having problem with people like Khupe. Because it's one person trying to negotiate, and he's negotiating what is good for himself. And these are other guys are saying you are not taking our consideration into play. So it is for that reason why I've opposed the MDC and why I have always said I don't think they are a good replacement for ZANU-PF, and they are not the party that we should be supporting. Let me stop.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask to challenge you out there, if you are listening and you kind of disagree or agree with what others are saying here. Please do give us a call. Like I say, it is unfortunate that Wapepe is on holiday and he is not with us today. And I can't locate Sekuru at the moment. He has not told me that he was not coming, so I don't know what has happened to him, because it would have been nice to hear from those in the MDC what they think about what happened on Saturday when these guys form an alliance, we were told, and we are now told that nothing was signed there. So what was the purpose of it? Some people are saying if they were coming together, this could have been done behind doors and just come out and say, right, tadzokererana pamwe chete vakamboonana washayani, and that's what they would have done. But to make things worse, people were sent to Thokozani Khupe's office in Bulawayo and kwakamutswa jambanja ikoko, and people were beaten up. Why? Now Mukoma Belford has gone further and say Tsvangirai is almost as worse as Mugabe as we speak, because here is a guy whoever doesn't follow his footsteps, he sends people to beat that person up, and he is bringing up the Mangoma issue that it was him who sent it. And Mukoma Benford, you believe it's Tsvangirai who sent those people to Thokozani Khupe's office?
I think he knew what was going to happen. It can't be happening over and over again. When they first time they split, there was this issue of violence. When Marat and Diabetes split, there was an issue of violence. And it can't be happening over and over again. Nivano anenge vachiprotecta iye ega, and he tell me he doesn't know what is going on.
All right. Thank you so much. So, if you want to get in touch with us, please do get in touch with us. Our Skype ID is Zimnet Main Radio. If you are not our friend already, please just request and I'll accept it, and then we can hear your thoughts as well here. Sally, who did send people to Thokozani Khupe's office? Any ideas?
Who sent?
Yes.
Look, I can go with what everybody else is saying, okay? But I really don't know. As to Morgan Tsvangirai knowing, yes, he knew.
Morgan Tsvangirai knew what was going to happen there.
Yes, and he could have stopped it, okay? But he decided not to, for whatever reason, okay? You see, this is where I have a big problem. That's why I have a big problem with MDC. Is this myopic following of Tsvangirai? Okay, it's for me. It's exactly the same as what ZANU-PF has done with Mugabe. Okay, it's exactly the same. That's why I call them a mini ZANU-PF, because it's getting to the stage, okay, where it's bringing more detriment, it's doing more damage to the MDC party, okay, than anything else. They're destroying themselves. Okay? I mean, it's how, you see, this is another thing that I have a problem with the youth. You mean to tell me that those youth had never had anything to do with Khupe and the other members and that kind of business? Of course they did. But they will go and they will beat up people. It's time the youth stop being used, okay, by these dictators or mini dictators. They must stop it. Because it's not going to help anybody. It really is not. And to be able to go and beat up people that you know. I mean, for me, okay, I stand that. The youth could have turned around and said, no ways, we are not turning on our own people. Okay? You've got a problem, you go sort it out. And they could have made big noise about it and brought it to the notice of the MDC, all of those 40,000 of them, okay, hierarchy, and demanded for it to be sorted out. But
Right.
you see, another thing that Changurai does that burns my bottom, and it has for years, he can never do things quietly. This is why I love my Majuru. She's quiet, she's peaceful as well in a way, okay? Changurai goes around sprouting his mouth. He's like a Donald Trump. And then everybody got to clean up behind him. It's been going on for years. This is not something new, okay? And it destroys everything.
All right, Sally. What I'm going to do now, fortunately, we have been joined by Sekuru to maybe shed a light on what happened on Saturday, what was Zitu all about, this alliance, and what it achieved, and also who went to Thokozani Khupe's office and made a fracas there. And also we've got Tetoyo Mashoko there who have joined us. I'm sure she's got something to say about that. And I've got Chief Soshe as well with us. But before we do that, I just want to play a disclaimer here to let people know that whatever people are saying here, Zimnet Radio and DJ Sodza has got nothing to do with it.
This is a disclaimer. The opinions expressed by contributors during radio call-in shows are solely those of the individual callers and do not reflect the opinions of Zimnet Radio, DJs, presenters, managers or administration. Listeners are encouraged and advised to seek the services of qualified professionals for their personal problems.
In touch with the best online station, Zimnet Radio.
Join DJ Sodza and his informative team live every Thursday at 9 p.m. UK time, discussing Zimbabwean politics.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much. We don't want to waste any more time. Now, Sekuru Maskara say. Taskera kuri sei kwenyu konasi.
Akadiva na pesa. Kwedu kune kachando kanenge kakuziya aumbodzisuti zvinofambasa.
You have to cheer up. Your team will be kicking off the new Premier League tomorrow. Or is it the Emirates tomorrow?
Izvo ndo zvatakamirira, ndo nhumba yanga yashota.
Right. Thank you so much, Sekuru. Sekuru, I don't know kuti mama katerera here wireless kana kuti muri kutongopinda izvozvo.
Ndiri kutongopindawo zvangu izvozvi.
Right. So unfortunately, you've missed out. People are not happy with the MDC alliance that took place on Saturday in Harare there. And the issue which happened in Thokozani Khupe, just to summarize, your man Changirai knows vanhu vakaenda ikoko into Thokozani Khupe's office, and it is alleged that he knew all about that. And why is it that anyone anenge ari associated na Changirai anopedzira atumirwa vanhu kuti vandorohwe? And Mkoma teacher was saying kuti zvinizvi zvangadai zvakaitwa behind closed doors. If you guys want to come back together and all that, what actually happened on Saturday? What was the motive of it, and what was the positive which came out of it?
The most ignorant people are those that are unhappy with what happened on Saturday.
Right.
Because they are politically naive. They do not understand the purpose of that show for unity to the Zimbabweans. And I am 100% positive that view is held only in the diaspora. It's not held within Zimbabwe.
Right. Okay. So, what did MDC achieve in this so-called alliance?
The most critical issue that has been achieved is the momentum in forging unity and alliances with other political parties and democratic forces. The significance of that event was to show to the people that we are a party that listens to the views of the generality of the populace. This is not a thing that has been dreamt of overnight and then implemented. What happened is, if you remember, in January and February this year, Tigray traversed the breadth and length of Zimbabwe, visiting village, cell, whatever, every place in Zimbabwe, talking to people about what their views were concerning the next government in Zimbabwe. And all the things that he met in every place that he went was that we, as the people of Zimbabwe, would like to get rid of Mugabe. And to do so, we would like the opposition field one person whom we vote for as a president against Mugabe. And that happens. So, what then happened was that after that consultative meeting, Tigray, hello?
Yes, go ahead, Segur.
Tigray convened the whole party, the MDC party, and they put these findings to the National Council. And the National Council then directed him, not asked him, they directed him to immediately start negotiations with all the democratic forces, party leaders, so that they come up with a position as to whether there is a possibility of forming an alliance to contest Mugabe in the 2018 election or not. So Tigray, in his wisdom or lack of it, convened meetings with all the parties that he believed were political parties, and excluded parties that he, in his own belief, were CIO or ZANU-PF offshoots intended to.
Sekuru, let's have a conversation. So you're saying that was Mamjuru invited to this alliance?
The first alliance was between Mamjuru and Tigray.
When did that happen?
A month ago.
Okay, but was that in public?
Yes.
So did they sign any papers there?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Mukoma teacher, are you aware of that? Right. Okay. That's fine.
We signed an MOU.
Magati?
We signed an MOU with the MDC.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. All right. So thank you so much, Sekuru, for clarifying that. So who went to Thokozani Khupe's office and tried to make noise there?
The people that went there are not yet, to my knowledge, public figures.
Mm-hmm.
The attacks, according to the MDC party, as a party, the attacks who went there on a destabilizing mission.
And who sent them there?
Well, the investigations are underway. When the investigations have been concluded, we will let you know who went there, why they went there, who sponsored them, why were they sponsored, and we will be very, very open and transparent about it.
What do you say to those people who are saying that Tsvangirai knew about all that because Thokozani Khupe failed to turn up at the Harare Alliance?
Well, I say that's the height of political mischief and stupidity, because to start off with, Tsvangirai needs Thokozani Khupe on his side in these negotiations for a coalition. Tsvangirai has been working closely with Khupe on these negotiations. I had occasion to attend Khupe. Khupe visited the UK here, and I had occasion to attend her rally in Birmingham and in London. And Khupe, I personally talked to Khupe and asked her why it is alleged that she had misgivings or she had a raucous relationship with Tsvangirai. She picked the phone and they phoned Tsvangirai and they put it on loudspeaker, and the whole group greeted Tsvangirai.
All right. Thank you so much Sekuru for that. Teto mashoko ndiri kukuonai. Ndoda kutanga nadzwa kuna Mukoma Tawanda. Mukoma Tawanda maswera sei?
Taswera DJ kana maswera kwakadingo.
Taswera zvedu. Muri kupi ko Mukoma? Asi muri kune karuzha muna kugadzikana iko kuri sei kana kuti muoffice menyu mune vanhu varimo.
Ndapenda ndaruzvarira pamwe kona vakamba chita noise ndanozvivarira pamwe ndingapaananisa.
Okay. Makateerera here show Mukoma?
Ndapinda panga pachi popota sali.
Okay. No, I mean Mukoma Tichi, Tete Sali, Mukoma Benford, na Mukoma Wilbert, they think that, you know, this MDC alliance was a waste of time and an insult to Zimbabweans, and really it shows that MDC are not a party for people to follow because they've got no strategy. This should have been done behind closed doors. What's your take on that one?
I don't even know what the people, especially the people on this panel, want MDC and Morgan Tsvangirai to do. He does this, he gets bashed. He doesn't do this, he gets bashed. Either way, he is condemned. The people of Zimbabwe have been widely condemning MDC all these years in all the previous elections, saying MDC is selfish. Morgan Tsvangirai is selfish. He doesn't want to unite with other political parties. That's why we are losing elections. This time around, Morgan Tsvangirai does what the people of Zimbabwe want. Not that he just thought about it and woke up doing it. He went to the people. He visited every part of Zimbabwe. I'm not an MDC supporter, but this is what happened. These are facts. And he was doing that to solicit the people's support, not the support. He actually wanted to hear people's views as to the way forward in 2018. And all these people who are now involved, Khupe, a person I talk to every now and again, Black Momoyo, were privy to everything that was happening. They said in the meetings that approved this, when Morgan Tsvangirai went around the country, he sat down, he called for an executive meeting, and it was chaired obviously by the chairperson of MDC, Black Momoyo, and everything was adopted. Tsvangirai was given the mandate to negotiate with other political parties to come up with a coalition. And he did that for almost a year. It's not like it's something that just woke up being there at in Highfield. This has been ongoing for months. In fact, it was close to a year. And us, you know, we're even questioning why is it taking so long? You know, but it was just because of the complexity of of the issue. Now, to cut a long story short, Tsvangirai did what the people wanted to do, and he picked the people that he felt he could work with, like in an alliance. Mayam Juru was the first person he spoke to. And if you follow the newspapers, Mayam Juru has been going to papers saying a number of things. It's on record. She has even said she cannot work under Morgan Tsvangirai. She was vice president. Why should she go down to being a minister? She wants to be the leader of the opposition. And that's not fair. For 30-something years, she was persecuting everyone. She was the very person who was causing the problem that Zimbabwean people are having now. And she wants to come back a year later, after a year in opposition, and she wants to be the leader of the opposition. And we all know here, even the people who are talking, that the MDC is the only party right now that has structures in all corners of Zimbabwe. And it has, Tsvangirai has the grassroots support. There's no doubt about that. So I don't see why the people are saying this has been a waste of time, because this is what the people of Zimbabwe want, and this is what can win us an election. Without unity, without parties coming together, we stand no chance. We stand a better chance if we are united. And then coming to the issue of the problem that happened in Bulawayo, we condemn. I condemn violence, and violence should be condemned by everyone in Zimbabwe. But to blame Tsvangirai solely for that, it's very unfair. Like Sekuru said, maybe some people are politically naive. In Zimbabwe we have a problem of infiltration. Our political parties, our organizations are highly infiltrated. And I can prove to you that some people who were involved in this saga are highly compromised. Some of them are even running businesses that are owned by Emerson Mnangagwa. And I'm going to post something on the group if people dare me to. Some of the senior officials who are involved in this, who are MDC, are highly compromised. The order to go to Bulawayo for those youth did not come from Morgan Tsvangirai. It came from a road official, MDC official. And that's why some officials were suspended. What more do people want Tsvangirai to do? He sees people who have misbehaved. He went on national newspaper, called for a press conference, and apologized to Madam Khupe and Love Momo. Apologized, in front of the country, in front of everyone. And then he takes action. That's leadership. And he's taking action right now. And he should actually, in fact, some of the embassies that have condemned him, they've stopped condemning him. Because they know that he is doing the right thing. You see something is wrong, and you take action, and you also take responsibility. You apologize. He apologized. He did everything that he had to do.
So
I don't see where people are blaming him.
So you think Mkoma Benford is misinformed to say that Tsvangirai was indeed behind or knew who these thugs were?
He's very misinformed. I don't know where he got that information. He can share that information with us. The information we have is Chelton Wende, who is the deputy treasurer of MDC, is the one who gave the order. And he has been duly suspended together with the others. So if he has any information that is besides the information that he has, he should make it available, than to just point a finger to someone who is actually doing the right thing.
Aiwa. Thank you so much, Chief Shoshe. That was Chief Shoshe there. Teto Masoko, Maskwera Seiko Kwenyu.
Mboskwera. Mvura nemushana zvose. Ameno kwamuri.
Aiwa, tiri nani su dziri sei muri?
Mhuri dzinongodaro dzazvo. As long as vari vapenyu ndizvozvo.
Handidika. Tete makateerera here chirongwa patatanga?
No, ndamisa pataurwa na teach asiseli ndambata.
Okay, so you've missed almost 3/4 of it. Anyway, I can't repeat what these guys said, but basically these guys, from what I gather, were absolutely not happy with this alliance, saying that it was unnecessary. That was the word I had, and uncalled for, because they could have done this behind closed doors. What do you make of it?
Let's get one thing very clear. There are some people, Pano Kama platform, Pano for about 2 years, who were very clear and vachi encourage maimujuru vasati vatombojoina vachiti MDC inopa kubatana. Inini I remember actually saying chara chimwe achitwa nhinda, vanhu vanofanwa kuita come together. Vanhu vakauya together, they are much more powerful, they're much more coherent. Saka I was one of those who have always stood by vanhu kuti vagare vese vataurirane. So coming back kune vanhu zvinhu zvavo zvavazoita izvi kuna Toko, you know what, let's be very clear. Violence, especially against any politician, it's totally out of the picture. It doesn't matter vanhu kuti mautadza kuwirirana papi. You know, it's when you have disagreements and how you then solve those disagreements. That is what demonstrates what leadership and what type of leadership you people have. When you resort to thuggish behavior, it goes back to the very core of the leadership. We can pass the buck, and those who know me, he can never do anything wrong in my eyes. And then Maimujuru, besides the fact that she's a female, I respect Maimujuru for one thing, or two, in actual fact. Number one, Maimujuru, because she has been in the trenches, and when I talk about trenches, I'm it takes mbava kuraya imwe mbavha, nekuti vanenge vachinyatsoziva kunyatsoti ndakakudhoma, ende muchigara pasi muchilayer out mese, you plan and you undertake that plan, you actually come back more mucha review kuti sei yashanda sei isina kushanda. Maimujuru is the right person for now to go in nevavanenge vabvumirana navo to remove ZANU-PF. Anybody who thinks otherwise, more power to them. But that aside, as to should coalitions and so forth happen, and then I want to talk to the power of women. You know what? When you want to judge a community, look at how they treat vakadzi vavo nevana vavo. That says a lot about them as a people. Ubuntu. When you resort to sending thugs, vana vari same age, it's like inini Tendai, my son, achiuya kuzondirova, vanhu vachibatana vachisetana apo kuti munhu ape flying kick. Are you for real? And you then find the voice as leaders to justify that kind of behavior, that barbarism at its best. Are you for real? People should be mortified, should be humiliated, should be humbled. But our politics is too way behind. Atimbofi takasvika panana Kenya, atife takasvika panana South Africa. Vanorova na South Africa simangwana unoona vachitonwa doro vese vachifa nekuseka. It was what it was. Let's carry on. But kusvika pavakadzi vamakaita Toko. No. If that is your type of politics, then we deserve Mugabe nemukadzi wake Naradaiya. We deserve everything and where we are today. So until Tesa Tanyatsogara back, let me point out one or two things. Vananda Kanganwa. Vanava Kagish behavior. Yakabaku Zanupi. Yabaku Zanupi. Zanupi Kinevan Koko Aine behavior Yakitash Yo. And the man was Yakut Vex. Vana vevanu and vakatorwa mavideo when people say atisati takuziva kuti ndianani and kuti vakanyatsotumwa nani. Really? Yet mapicture munako, mavideo munako. Oh, come on.
I'm so disappointed, honestly.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Mkoma teach.
Yes,
Hello? Yes, Mkoma teach mount zvataurwa nasekuru na Mkoma Tawanda na Tetewe Mashoko. Basically, they are not agreeing with your sentiment that this was a waste of time. They think this was a worthwhile.
Well, all I can say, the proof of a pudding is in the eating. How MDC is going to handle this Thokozani Khupe issue will inform everyone truly what is going on in MDC. Because this is out of the blue. As I have said, as far as every pointer can be seen, these are internal MDC dynamics, just the same as the internal ZANU-PF dynamics that have seen Mugabe going on nationwide youth interface to consolidate his own position. Khupe feels threatened. MDC, all they need to do is to assure her Welshman is not coming to take your position, and whatever we're doing for this reason. If she knew what was happening, Khupe would not be just silly enough to behave any funny way or oppose anything. She is fighting a fair battle. Khupe worked very hard for that position. Welshman Khupe dumped Tsvangirai twice on treason charges and running away with the MDC name. And for him to be seen with the support of Tabita Khumalo coming to try and upstage her because there is a new MDC alliance, Khupe has every right to fight, and she's not alone. The chairman of the party, Love Momoyo, and the organizing secretary, Abednego Bebe, they're all in the same boat. They stuck with Morgan Tsvangirai and MDC when Coltart and Khupe left them and dumped them. So these people have the right fight. And if MDC is not going to negotiate clearly within itself, how are they going to lead the coalition if they cannot resolve such a simple issue? From an NPP position, I'll tell you officially, this is the concern, is that you want to lead the coalition, but you cannot be magnanimous within yourselves. Thokozani Khupe stood by Morgan Tsvangirai thick and thin. Welshman Khupe is on record of having dumped Tsvangirai twice at the most critical juncture, when Morgan Tsvangirai was most needy, when his whole career was under threat, and the treason charges, his actual life was under threat, Welshman Khupe abandoned him. And Thokozani Khupe, as a human being, has every right to feel aggrieved if this MDC alliance means she's going to be sidelined further than she was done when Nelson Chamisa and Mudzuri were appointed vice president outside Congress. The MDC officials here have every right to defend their party and posture and have all this bravado about what they are saying. That's not the issue. These are internal dynamics of MDC, and MDC needs to get a grip. The world is watching, not only Zimbabweans, even people interested in helping MDC, friends of MDC, they are watching. We are not that gullible. This has nothing to do with any external force. It's purely 100% internal. If it was CIO, ZAN, they wouldn't have suspended Charlton Wende and all those senior MDC officials. It's clear these are internal dynamics. It's not the first time Mangoma was beaten, BT was threatened, they ended up not going to their own offices. This is a fact. This needs to stop. Sean was seen with a woman in a hotel at a time when he was the Director General of the MDC. This culture MDC needs to get rid of. It may be individuals, but the outside world looks at it as MDC. So they need to deal with it. How they handle this Khupe issue, I'm telling you, will have a great impact on how they are perceived all round.
Right. Yeah, dzorera.
Kawanda rega wazodzorera kawani.
All right.
I think this issue, if you look at ZANU-PF, for every mistake they make, they blame sanctions. MDC is now in a habit for every mistake they start to blame the CIO. Funds in Tawanda were infiltrated. The MDC has been in existence for nearly 20 years.
And they continue to bring
sweep out their own party. Then how can we expect those people to lead us as a country? That is the other thing. The other thing is, teacher, I understand it, and I can see the argument that is presented. But what worries me more is the fact that people are concerned about their own personal position and not the masses of Zimbabwe. That is what continues to worry me. If you look at when Changira is negotiating, he's worried about his own position. He doesn't care about everybody else. He doesn't care about the nation. As long as I try leader with the coalition, that's what matters first. And if he's forgetting even Marugu Musaraunda. All these other guys are fighting for position. At the end of the day, what they should know is it is the Zimbabwean people who are suffering. And it's time they sacrifice positions, they sacrifice leadership position for the good of the entire country. Unless they take that approach, for me, it doesn't make a difference whether ZANU-PF of stays in power or whether opposition comes in. We need people who have the people in heart. And that is lacking at the moment.
Okay. Right. Okay, thank you. This is people are not happy with the whole shenanigans in the MDC party. They're saying that there's an in fight there inside. And Mazinzo explain when I'm coming teacher, we will see how they handle this Khupe issue.
First of all, Ngoma Sodza, anyone who is on this platform who doesn't understand the dynamics in Zimbabwean politics, that there is infiltration. And when infiltration happens, it causes havoc in internal mechanisms in all the organizations and even in MDC, And Mkoma Teach and his party are the last people to be criticizing the MDC for the problems that MDC is having right now. Because if we just look at the short history of NPP itself, how many times if people resign en masse, not just one person. Let me finish, you had your time, let me finish. It has split 3 times. People have been resigning en masse. If Mamjuru is such an excellent leader, why is she not stabilizing a ship? A ship right now is floating on turbulent waters because she's not a leader. She cannot control her own people. She cannot manage her own affairs in her own party. And that this is the reason why we're having all these problems in NPP. MDC has proven itself. It has stood the test of time. For 17, 18 years, it has been there. It has been infiltrated. It has been battered. It has been, accused. Everything has been thrown at the MDC, and it's still standing. At the rate that NPP is going, that it has split 3 times within a year. I wonder if they will even, get to 5 years to celebrate their 5-year celebration. They won't. They definitely won't. So the problems that are affecting MDC, cannot be heaped on the leadership of Morgan Tsvangirai. On this issue, Madam Khupe, I have condemned what those people did. And even him as a leader, he showed true leadership. He went, called where, it was the first of all, it was Obed Good who condemned the violence. And then, as if that was not enough, he called for a press conference himself and condemned violence and apologized to Madam Khupe. And then he said, on that day, we are going to take action. And within 2 days, action was taken. People were suspended. That's how he's dealing with it. The Komatichi was saying, we want to see how he's going to deal with it. He's already dealing with it, and he's dealing with it very well. And I can testify that even the people here in the State Department, some of the ambassadors are happy with the way Morgan has dealt with this issue. He has been very decisive.
Okay. regai vapindure, regai mukomatichi wapindure. Mukomatichi, you want to respond to that? Because tine vamwe wafona varoda kutaura.
Yeah, I do. I just want to respond specifically on the NPP party. I can't stop people defending their own parties, no matter how that may be naive. My point, Chayo, really is today, the subject matter was really about the troubles that are in MDC currently. Should they lampoon NPP, which was only formed this year, is being disingenuous for the simple fact that when NPP was founded, it was founded with Rugare Gumbo and the Ditmas Interest. Everyone knows that. And we fell out because we felt that they were deadwood and that's a problem. And they were also going to be a problem even in us trying to work with MDC. Right now, my criticism of MDC is a brotherly one. I know I'm very forceful when I make my arguments. But for MDC to respond by throwing mud at NPP, it's a height of naivety in potential alliance.
I'm not MDC. I'm not representing
the alliance of the nation is expected to be a national grand coalition, not an MDC alliance. MDC alliance is something that caught people by surprise. No one knew about MDC alliance. We were all talking about a grand coalition. Sis Toko talked about that. We spent 2 years saying all opposition parties need to unite, blah, blah, blah. I am on record on saying due process must be followed. If Trangirai is elected the leader of the coalition, we will all rally behind him. But he cannot just appoint himself by declaring that I'm the biggest opposition leader, I've been around 17 years or 20 years. Mujuri can also say I've been around 10 years and so on. And it goes on and on, doesn't matter. We just need a criteria, a legalistic and constitutional, institutionalized process that comes up with the criteria of choosing this particular leader of the Grand Coalition once everybody is signed into the Grand Coalition. Because they have a national unity kind of government or cabinet allocation of posts, etc., within the alliance, because the alliance or the coalition expects to become the next government. So there's plenty positions to go around. So there's no issue of Mjuru being declared leader or Trangirai being declared leader. Some of us is what we're objecting to. We want a systematic, institutional, constitutional process where there is a clearly set criteria where we can go back and say you have violated section 1A, B, C, D of the agreement. People forget we had the GNU, which had clearly defined sections and a constitutional amendment to boot to make it valid. I am past talking like we're at a rally sloganeering for my party. I expect when officials of a political party come to a platform like this, they're going to show leadership and self-restraint. We've had enough of these topic exchanges that we've had in our country. We can continue to have them. I can start lampooning Trangirai. It's not very difficult to do. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to say MDC need to handle this with the kind of due care that is expected of a motherly figure that was violated. That's it. To then try to change that and turn it around like it's a war between MDC and NPP, I think is naive.
All right, thank you so much. Regarding the pana, mukoma tafatwa maswera sei?
Kwati atipinduri vere pati yedu zvairi kungotsemurwa tsemurwa.
Muri kupinda manje sekuru ndiri kuitira kuti vamwe vanenge vasati vataura handizokwanisi kuti ndibate munhu for 2 hours ari pa. I'll come back to you. Mukoma tafatwa maswera sei? Hello, mukoma tafatwa muripo here? Right. Okay. Sekuru pindurai zve.
Badema bvumira sekuru to respond in context.
Sekuru pindurai zve.
The issue yekuti wanatishi is understood and understandable very well. The issue yatawa wanatoko is very well understood to the MDC. The MDC did not go into an alliance of MDC parties as a grand coalition. No. The MDC went into this alliance. Hello?
Yes, Taura Sekuru Takate.
They went into this alliance as a show of willingness to unite. So that those parties that do not have the original MDC DNA will understand that if the MDC can come together and show this to us that they are together, why can't we help them and dethrone this dictator? Now, the issue of who is to blame between the NPP or MDC does not arise in this issue, because the alliance is not between NPP and the MDC alliance. The requirement of the people of Zimbabwe is that all democratic forces must come together.
A grand coalition.
We must fight the dictatorship that is Mugabe and his junta dynasty. So at the present moment, what has happened is good, because it's a good starting point in showing unity of purpose, in that all those feuding MDC wings have come together, save for Mangoma. Mangoma, who has lost his chief whip back to MDC. You can understand from this point that it becomes very difficult for me to continue into detail as to what is happening. But the point be stated, MDC as a party is not interested in lampooning Mai Mujuru. Yesterday, Changirai was at the NPP rally, and he actually wowed all the NPP supporters. In fact, he got a standing ovation. I've got a video here which shows that the NPP people were very, very impressed by Changirai's position. But that is not Changirai's position. That is MDC position. So as far as I'm concerned, all this talk that we are making about a feud between or lampooning between FDCT and NPP is misplaced, because we don't have the finer details of what is happening. The reason why...
Segur, can I ask you a simple question, Segur?
Yeah?
How do you explain Tendai BT's party coming out soon after that former alliance, the NMDC alliance, on Sunday? How do you explain them issuing a statement yokuti apana alliance yavakaita, nothing was signed?
I don't explain anything, because as far as I'm concerned, what is happening on this forum is exactly what happened in BT's forum, and that is what happened in Mube's forum. It is the same thing that is happening in MDCT forum. The people are yet to be fully appraised of what is happening. These issues are always going to arise. So I don't have anything to say about that, except that imbgana additionally musimu watazahwa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sekuru.
So what I was going on about is that the NPP is very much part of the broad alliance of democratic forces. And the NPP and MDC have got a common understanding on that issue. The only difference is the finer details. The final details will be worked out, and they will come in force. And at that point in time, we will then come back to this topic and say, were we right or were we wrong? Were we visionary or were we not visionary? Because as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing that differentiates between what the MPP is gunning for and what the MDCT is gunning for and what the MDC alliance is gunning for. The only difference is that because of the animosity and acrimony that has taken place, people are still holding on to the past. We are moving forward, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. There is no question that the MDC put up an issue of wanting to downgrade its VP. Remember, Thokozani Khupe is the only elected VP in MDC. The other two are appointed for specific tasks. Yeah, they are appointed for specific tasks. And that is beyond the understanding of many people why we have those three presidents, the three VPs. We have them because out of necessity, not out of willingness. So at the present moment, all I can tell you is that, and the teacher will confirm this, negotiations between NPP and the MDC on the way forward regarding the Grand Coalition are ongoing. And they will go on probably for quite some time because there are so many issues that we do not seem to appreciate. We cannot send anybody to go and beat our own VP because we are now entering a situation where we are going to negotiate positions. That is absolute nonsense.
Aha, Aiwa. Thank you so much, Sekuru. I want to hear from Sally. Sally, are you still there?
Yes, the very proud novice is still here.
Yes. Sally, you have heard what Sekuru and Chief Soshed had to say, and your colleague Teto Mashoko there. I don't know, have you got anything more to say on what you had said before? I know you were very disappointed, why the MDC had to gather people to do this alliance. Has Sekuru explained to you? Have you understood? Have you changed your thoughts? Have you changed your thoughts now?
I don't have a problem with the alliance. Okay? My problem, and nobody has explained this, is why that signing ceremony was made such a big hoo-ha, okay, when the fine details and the actual signing weren't being done. This is my problem. It's like putting the cart before the horse. You can't run a race if the cart is in front of the horse. The horse has to be in front of the cart. The alliance, brilliant, carry on. Okay? But when you make such a public statement on an international stage, okay, that people are signing a document that is not even being signed because the details and the fine details and the agreements haven't even been reached properly. That is my problem. Okay? That is the problem. If I'm a novice, that's fine. I'm a novice. A novice always learns. And I'm a very proud novice.
Can I help?
Okay.
Can I help you, Sally?
Yeah, let Sekuru answer you.
No, you can't, Sekuru. You can't help a novice.
No,
Look, that is my problem.
Novices
can't
grow by being assisted by pros. Novices become pros by being assisted by pros. Even in golf, the caddies end up becoming golfers because they are being mentored by pros. The situation is not that there was no signing ceremony. There was a signing ceremony and something was signed there. What was signed there was a memorandum of agreement between the MDC splinter groups to come together. Do you understand that?
Carry on.
Now,
You want
that
to carry on, but carry
understanding,
on.
that understanding is no different from the understanding, the memorandum of understanding that was signed between Morgan Changrai's MDCT and Maimujurusi NPP. You can't say there was nothing that was signed there. It was signed, it was publicly done. What then happens is that you are now running faster, or you have started running before you have learned to walk. What has happened is from that trigger of a memorandum of understanding, the parties' executives are now coming together to thrash out the finer details. The final details are aimed at endorsing one presidential candidate. Now, as long as we have got 2, 3, 4, 5 presidential candidates, or 40 of them, as the parties tend to be in Zimbabwe, we can't say there is a grand coalition. The grand coalition aims at fielding one presidential candidate. And all the parties that are subscribed to the coalition idea will then vote for that president. The final details are on the distribution of power within that coalition.
Sekuru?
Yes.
Sekuru. That, when the announcement of the signing of the alliance came over, there was nothing that it was a MOU.
No. You are missing the point.
I'm not missing the point. I am dealing with the point that was portrayed.
Okay, let's deal with it from your angle. Let's deal with it from your own angle. Your own angle is that only when the parties, all the parties that will form the Grand Coalition will have agreed, then only.
No.
What is it?
The alliance that was signed between the 40,000 MDC factions, okay? That was portrayed as the finished document for the alliance. It was not portrayed as an MOU.
No,
an MOU
was a finished document.
It was portrayed on the international stage, okay, as the final document of the alliance between the MDC factions. Not as an MOU. As an MOU.
Can I just clarify something there as well to just back up Sally there, DJ?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Sally is right, because if Sekuru remembers, Changirai actually said that end of July he will have the coalition finalized, because he wants to move on to other issues. So it was meant to be the coalition, But the fact that when they came to signing, they realized that so many things had not been agreed. So it was meant, in the end, it was just a signing ceremony where nobody was signing anything. So that point is there. In this particular case, I think, Sekuru, if you want to be honest, the least you can say is, well, they thought they would have the final document ready, but they didn't. So in the end, they ended up signing something that was just a blank piece of paper.
No, Wilbert, I can't say that. You are putting words into my mouth. You want to know what happened, and I have got the knowledge of what happened. So you listen, and then I criticize. Okay? The understanding between Ma'am Juru, NPP, and MTCT was done prematurely because Ma'am Juru was always recognized as the leader of the NPP in waiting.
But I'm not talking about the MDP.
Just wait. I'm responding to what Wilbert has said. The understanding was that Ma'am Juru would eventually become the president of a fully constituted party which is endorsed in Congress, which they've done yesterday. The idea was that in the meantime, let's sign this agreement so that we go forward, fully knowing that we have got a common purpose. And that is what has happened. Now, the problem, the raucous was between the MDCT factions. The MDCT factions were maintaining that each and every one of the factions is as powerful as the other, and they can go into negotiations on its own and they form its own alliances. That's the existence of code. But then what then eventually happened was that PT wanted to negotiate with Ma'am Juru, and it didn't work out very well because Ma'am Juru was also insisting that the alliance must be all inclusive. So at the end of the day, we have a situation where the MDCT had to put its house in order first. And that's what they did.
Which is why then, sorry,
ask your question, Tete, ndikupindure zvakanaka.
Hayi bodo, ine ndandichida kutotsigira zvamuri kutaura somewhat in the sense yekuti, you know what, kune anonzi ma-offshoots. Ma-offshoots happen when kana paine major problem to the heart of the problem. Imimi zvino you are explaining, you are filling in the blanks and atati chiona, but we're like, what is really happening? Why is Toko in blue and yet she's supposed to be there? What is the diabetes? You see, that on its own says there is communication breakdown. Communication breakdown irikubva kupi by leadership thinking kuti ivo ndo vanofunga stereki. There's no need yekuenda kugrassroots kunyatsonotaurira vanhu tese who are eagerly waiting kuti tinzwe mai Mujuru, vatsvangirai and all the others vachiti no, isusu tiri kunegotiata iye zvino tasvika pastage yakati, and then ivo votorawo futi information feedback iri kubva from grassroots, iri kubva kumiddle people right up to the top, kuti vanhu vari kufungei nazvo. Nekuti iye zvino by virtue of not having communication, effective, transparent communication, ndo panozoita ma-issues panikaiwa yekuti vanhu vanenge vakuti what was that ceremony all about? Was there any need for that to even happen? Right. Ndichipedzesa, regai nimbotaura what Sally was saying, and I agree with her 100%. Memorandum of understanding is to understand kuti tipote tichiuya together tichitaurirana. That's non-committal in any form, shape, and sense. It's non-committal. People can't go on international platforms with memorandums of understanding. Let's be very clear. Memorandum of understanding happens within my organization, not at a political level, and not even my elections. We don't need to hear about memorandum of understanding. That's embarrassing. We don't understand what it means. What we want to hear is coherent, firm agreements. He shuts his mouth. Mai Mujuru, Changirai, anonza nomwachona vatazvarongwe kupweya. Vese vachitaura with one voice. It comes back kune zvachitaurwa nasekuru teach. Vanhu ngavachichuza wachona achava communicating, effectively speaking on behalf of everybody, without backstabbing, without vying for a seat. What is it that people are not getting?
What is it that people are not getting, or what is it that you are not getting? MDC was a fragmented party. They've now said all our negotiations are through Trangirai. NPP was not a constituted party in terms of what we call a democratic party which has got elected leaders. It had an interim executive. Ma'am Juru was still busy trying to put the structures together.
I think, Seguro, sorry kukubatai Seguro. I don't. I think dambudziko ratiri kuita kana danga iri memorandum of understanding like you're putting it. Why would people then attack people like Thokozani Khupe? Why would Thokozani Khupe be so opposed to the so-called alliance? Can I give a memorandum of understanding?
But Muzukuru Benford, you were not listening to Antitoko. Were you listening to Muzukuru Agunatoko? What did she say? She says, don't put the cart before the what? The horse. And this way.
Sekuru,
Yes.
okay, I'm going back to the signing of that thing, okay? What was the signing, that whole ceremony? What was it announced as?
The signing was announced appropriately as an NDC alliance signing.
Thank you. It wasn't announced as an MOU.
No. It was because it was an alliance signing.
But now the alliance is saying that the final details hadn't been worked out, and that signing of the alliance was nothing because nothing had been worked out properly.
Okay, all right, okay, please hold on, Mkomata Fats, Gomaskera saying. Mukoma contributor it on and dance all alone, and you've got something that you want to share with us.
Yes, I have something I want to share. And what I want to share is, I think what I learned from the event paper weekend is I was happy to see the MDC alliance come together. Because people are saying, why are you doing things in the public forum? Why aren't you behind closed doors and so forth and so forth? Is this not something for the people? And are the people not supposed to see the fact that Tendai Biti and Morgan Tsvangirai and Wilson Ngube and all these other parties are now talking? Is it not, what's wrong with the people seeing that and celebrating that moment? Even if it's just an alliance, a memorandum of understanding, what is wrong with the people seeing that? It galvanizes the people. We're getting into elections. The people need to be rallied. People need to be motivated about elections. And you tell me you want them to wait 3 months down the road when they finally talked about the finer details that you guys keep talking about. You can't do that. I was happy to see what happened. I was very excited to see Morgan Tsvangirai, Tendai Biti, Wilson Ngube sharing the same stage. I don't care what they signed. Even if they signed a memorandum of agreement, that is good. That's a humongous step. Because we never heard of, who knew? I didn't even know that the MDCs were talking behind the scenes. People were caught off guard by this. So which means a lot of the just posting and back and forth happened behind the scenes until these guys finally all agreed and said, let's have an alliance rally. Let's celebrate this pivotal moment towards a coalition. Not go on and on and on and on about why did it happen. The violence that occurred in Matebelele is very, very unfortunate. Things like that should not happen in opposition politics. And like I said, should not happen. But does not mean they will never happen. As you saw, then they happen. So what we need to look at is what has happened since that happened. President Tsvangirai came out and gave a press conference. He castigated the event, and several members were suspended, as well as investigations that are moving forward to find out the perpetrators who were involved with that. So what else do people want him to do? What else? If he kept quiet, then, why hasn't he said anything? What do people want this man to do?
Can I just reply to that one, Jay?
Yeah,
let me finish. Yes. As a person, as a Zimbabwean citizen who is tired of ZANU-PF, ZANU-PF violence, ZANU-PF corruption. Just recently we watched the First Lady, castigating and making fun of all these her own party people. It's a circus, what ZANU-PF has done to our country. And so we want an end to this. And what is going on with the different opposition parties is progress. And we are for what is going on. We totally loved what happened on Saturday. Although, unfortunately, within 24 hours, we're talking of a totally different issue. So, I don't know what people want, but hey, you can't nitpick all the time, because we are fighting a dictatorship, a regime that has all the apparatus at his hands to manipulate an election, to manipulate whichever way they want things to do. And here we are nitpicking why did they show up at an alliance in Harare? Man, come on, guys, let's be serious. Some of us in the electorate, some of us, the supporters, we were happy to see what happened. I watched it live, and I was excited every minute of that celebration.
Okay. Aiwa, thank you so much, Mkomata Fats, of that. Where have you been, actually, my brother? We haven't seen you for a year.
I've been behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. I think you're one of those guys that said Arsenal will finish above Tottenham, and he decided to run away.
I'm holding off my support for Arsenal until Arsene Wenger goes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll leave that for another day.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Thank you. Now, Mkoma Benford, please, no, regarding Mkoma Wilbert. Mkoma Wilbert, 1 minute 30 seconds of your conclusion of what we've been talking about today.
I think the father has missed the point completely. There are many people who have been saying that the opposition should unite and speak with one voice. Tete there was saying the same thing. But what happened this Saturday was it was supposed to be the coming together, and it didn't happen. And that is what we can't keep on having this situation where we say this has happened, and then the following day we are told, oh, it hasn't happened. The truth of the matter is the negotiations between the opposition is for positions. And those positions are for the parliamentary and senatorial seats, not the presidents. The president, they can agree on one candidate without any problem. But for those sharing the parliamentary and senatorial seats, that's where the problem is going to be. And you will find that we will be talking about this time next month. And that is where the problem is. You know, and to think if we can hold a ceremony where those details have not been worked out, and then tomorrow you say, well, that agreement we haven't agreed on anything. It's totally meaningless. What's the point then of holding those ceremonies? Who are you trying to deceive?
Okay, thank you so much. Tetuo Mashoko, 1 minute 30 seconds for you.
In ndinotenda opposition parties have listened kuvanhu kuti vagare vataurirane vabatane. What I beg of them is to be transparent, communicate effectively. Chitsotsi chatanzwa neZANU-PF. We've seen it where it's just for media or it's just for appearance sake. If it's a pig, we want to see a pig. A pig dressed in goat skin. And it's our right, it's our power. They mustn't take that power from us to say and to ask for what we feel is right for our country. We are there to support them. And also at the same time work panika izvozvo vana sekuru kana varipo kudai tichipo ma opinions edu vachiteerera mamakonas. That's all we ask for. We are not condemning kuzvavakaita at all. Ngavataurirane, ngavaregere kutanga kusidelana, because that just confidence yatata nayo, we just feel lost all over again. As for violence towards women, please, and those if they are people women, they should apologize. They shouldn't even wait for my stills, my videos to come out or anything. Apologize, demand my SM Zimbabwe. We will not stand for violence. Period. End of.
Thank you so much. Mukoma Benford, 1 minute 30 seconds for you.
Yes, as DCP, we just watched another coalition losing an election resoundingly in Kenya this week. So what I want to tell these opposition guys is just forming a coalition does not guarantee success. It needs a lot of planning, it needs a strategy, and at the moment, it's lacking in everything. It's lacking transparency. The leader of the so-called coalition is elected with transparency. Pete zvokungozvimpoza wotipa zvose zvinopinda muna save so ini ndatozidzira kundii. If this coalition is working, this leadership is chosen, transparent, they should strategy everything, and the time is running away. This is the time to finalize and strategize on the ground. Otherwise, Kenya, which is the same story.
Okay.
You keep losing elections over and over again at the detriment.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sally, your 1 minute 30 seconds, please. Just a conclusion of what we've been talking about.
Right, I'm going to go on the violence thing, okay? I am appealing on bended knee. Please, youth, don't allow yourselves to be used as cannon fodder and to beat up people. Please, just stop it. And parents that know that their kids are being used as for these sort of things, stop it. Train those children, those men or whatever they are, okay, to posts. Don't let them do it. It has to stop. This business of the youth thinking it's all right to be bought and paid for. They're acting like prostitutes. To be bought and paid for and then used to beat up our own people. Stop it, please. I live in a country where life has no meaning because people are being raised like that. Don't let it happen in Zimbabwe, please. Stop it. Stop the youth being used and the men and the adults that do it. Okay? These politicians that do it. I hope that you bury your heads right up your rear ends because you are a disgrace to humanity. How dare you use our children to go and beat up our own people? Stop this. Youth, you hold the power of today and tomorrow in your hands. Don't be known as a youth that'll go to the highest bidder to turn on our own people. Please don't do it.
Okay. Sally, thank you so much. That is a plea from Sally there. Mukoma Teach, please, your 1 minute 30 seconds just to conclude what we've been talking about.
Mukoma Sodza, I pray that my brothers in the MDC see the light. If they don't do that, they are going to have numerous problems which will affect us all in the opposition movement. For the simple reason that I know for a fact that ZANU-PF is able to make them continue to chase their tail all the way to the elections. And if they are not clever enough, they will do exactly that and spend time trying to monopolize the opposition space instead of consolidating it. MDC, as their position of being the oldest and the main opposition party currently, is to consolidate the opposition because they have the goodwill of all the other parties that recognize that a grand coalition is the way to go. MDC alliance is not a grand coalition. as Segura has well explained there, if it is the coming back together of people of a similar ideological background based on their DNA as the founders of the original MDC, that's fine. It's a good thing. But to make it sound like it is the Grand Coalition and so can go and hang because they've been in ZANU-PF or because they've got this, that, and the other, it's a complete waste of time. You are wasting Miss Seve on the wrong target. MDC needs to understand that it has to have the magnanimity and the pragmatism to know that it will have to compromise. And some of its officials may lose their positions. But they don't have to fight each other in so doing just because they've got new friends. Welshman Khupe is not a new friend. Neither is any other person. Ma'am Juru cannot come there and suddenly they have to look down on other people within MDC. Welshman Khupe cannot come there and they suddenly have to look down on other MDC. MDC has to be solid. That's what Sekuru in his wisdom was trying to explain. That MDC itself has to be solid within its own alliance, within the people that were MDC. So that when they're negotiating with everybody else, we know that we have got a real national movement that is going to be along the same lines that the GNU was created, excluding ZANU-PF, but including everybody else.
Okay.
This means that if anything goes wrong with the elections, the whole nation will rise as one. If as fragmented as we are, MDC goes to the elections playing this monopoly game, I will be laughing at them because I'll be telling them, didn't I tell you? I know ZANU better. And if they want to carry on like this, thinking we are the enemies, then that's their own demise, not ours. NPP is a new party. It's a few months old. It was started in 2017. Come 2023, I'll be the leader of the NPP. So NPP is still looking forward to go forward. It's not the MDC are the people that have got the mandate to want to be in government, and they've got the capacity. And everyone else, MDC, and if MDC cannot appreciate this reality, they are not going anywhere.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Chief, so say 1 minute 30 seconds, please, for you to conclude what we've been talking about today.
DJ, chakanaka mkaka urungwe. I want to take this time to congratulate and hail our opposition parties for finally growing up and coming together and coming up with this alliance. It was long overdue. This was supposed to have been done years ago. And this is what the people of Zimbabwe have been crying for. All these years, people have been saying the opposition needs to unite. We have seen split votes. We have seen Simba Makoni coming in and getting 5% and thereby completely denying Morgan Tsvangirai in outright victory. And people have been talking and people have been pushing the MDC as the leading opposition party in Zimbabwe to bring together all the other political members in Zimbabwe to come together. And they've listened. MDC has listened. Morgan Tsvangirai has listened. And today we have the alliance. And as Zimbabweans, we should hail that because it has never happened before. And there are two things that are really disturbing me right now. There are people like Maimu Juru and Tendai Biti. They behave as if we have all the time in the world. We don't have time. We have less than 14 months to go before elections. And all they are doing right now is haggling and they're wasting time and playing delaying tactics. And if Mugabe goes by his word that he wants to have elections in March, we have less time. These people should realize that they are doing this for the Zimbabwean people. They should start putting Zimbabwe first. They should start putting the country first as opposed to their selfish aggrandizement. You know, we need them to come on board. We need Mamduru to come on board. We need Tendai Biti to come on board. But they have to stop playing the games that they are playing, you know, and join others. Morgan Tsvangirai has been the grandfather in the house. Tendai Biti has called Morgan Tsvangirai names, stupid, and all the others. They have been in the papers. Mamduru has done the same thing, you know, criticizing Morgan. But there he was yesterday at a rally, telling the people to come together. And that's what we want. Let's have Maimuturu, let's have the diabetes, let's have all the political parties, let's have all the independent candidates coming together and forming one unified force against ZANU-PF. And that way, we will definitely win in 2018. Without that, we will not win.
Aiwa, thank you so much. Sekuru, may I finish with you then?
Thank you very much. Isusu as the MDC will do what the people want. And the people does not mean the MDC supporter only. It means the whole of Zimbabweans. All Zimbabweans want ZANU-PF or the misrule that is associated with the ZANU-PF to be a history of our country that nobody ever remembers. And we are prepared to go to any lengths to get that history wiped clean. So there is no issue about the NPP doubting that MDC would want to solidify its position and remove Mugabe, because we know NPP also wants to remove Mugabe for all the reasons that we believe in. So we will do what is necessary to get rid of Mugabe, and that is a promise that we will not breach in the future or now. The violence issue, I can assure you that there is no party leader who has suffered more violence than Morgan Tsvangirai, and he hates it. He loathes anybody who tries to instigate violence. So to then associate Tsvangirai with violence is a bit misplaced. I call it political mischief. But then political mischief is what drives us on. So when you accuse Tsvangirai of violence, we will try and advise him what to do to ensure that the people appreciate that he is not a violent party leader. In respect of those who carry out acts of violence in the name of the MDC, we can assure you that those people are individuals that are sponsored from elsewhere, not from within the MDC. There is nobody in the MDC who sponsors violence. The violence that they are using is a borrowed concept from, as Tetemasho said, from their origins in ZANU-PF. So I can appreciate that, but then people, when we say this, people then say, you always point a finger at the other direction, not in yourself. We are 100% responsible for what happens in our party, and we take responsibility for it. But that doesn't also preclude us from saying, look, you guys who are meddling in our own affairs, can you please remove your hands of violence? Can you please stay in your parties and fight your own battles in your own parties? Because there's no party in Zimbabwe without this problem. But it's how we manage them. And I can assure you that at the end of the day, we shall all be celebrating that these people that you think are not going to unite are going to unite, and they are going to put up a brave face, and they are going to fight Mugabe and kick him out. Aluta continua.
Aluta continua. Sekuru tisati tapedza chirongwa chanhasi. I know kuti last year ndakawina mbudzi. But this year I'm hoping kuti ndinokwanisa kuitora futi imwe mbudzi futi. Now you have heard it here first that Manchester City will be crowned the champions of England come May next year. Do you have any objection to that?
Yeah, Manchester City of all teams. I think you
aiwa ndikuda mbudzi ndinodai ndinozokwanisa kudya nyama. Saka imise kurga kana muri kuti Man City haiwiniba.
mombe inozonetsa kuti munhu azogoni kuibvisa mbudzi inongogona kungobviswa nomunhu wese wese so we stick nembudzi.
Yeah, we stick nembudzi sekuru, we stick nembudzi. So do you dispute that?
The championship will be contested between Chelsea and Arsenal.
Babangu chirandiyo. Mbudzi sekuru, mbudzi. Alright, Sekuruka, to be fair, imimi mati Chelsea and Arsenal, indikuti the Manchester teams, it's going to be between Man United and Manchester City. It's clear, it's on record.
In India, it's the London teams, Chelsea and the Arsenal.
Right, the trophy is going to Manchester. Saka mbudzi, it's clear. Wanaweza waripo, Mukoma Tichi muripo, Sali uripo, everybody is there. I will see you on the 10th of May next year.
Teach, uripo ere.
Dili basa ku.
Unofunga kuti zvinoita muzukuru wedu zviri right ere.
Anopenga. I think living up north is confusing you.
Listen, if it's Arsenal against Chelsea, I want Arsenal to win. Okay. As long as Chelsea loses, and if it's Arsenal against Man U, if Arsenal doesn't win, I'm telling you, I'm divorcing you and finish.
We've already beaten them in all cups.
Every time we beat them, they get a red card every time because they use
we beat them in the league and we beat them in 2 cups.
We just keep on beating Man U.
You see,
if you lose against Man U, I'm telling you, it's going to be the most costly divorces in the world.
No, we are not going to allow that to ever happen. No.
Now it's all finished. Inini, I'm clear. The trophy will be landing in Manchester. Manchester City or Man United will be crowned the champions of England, and these guys are saying the trophy is going to London. It's simple. Yes.
So if the cup, the championship stays in London, you have lost.
Yes.
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But if Tottenham picks it up, you have won.
Well, Tottenham, I don't think Tottenham are going to pick it up. I mean,
if they do.
Tottenham has done badly, huh?
No, it's going to Manchester Sekuru anyway.
Anyway, we will see. I am 100% to be back where it belongs in London.
All right. Zisre Moria Zimbabwe does we will see you next week, same time, same place. My thanks to everyone who has participated on the show. Right. Once again, my apologies. Last week we had a bit of a blip and the show didn't air, but we are back on now, thanks to Vanama Kanika Wakabata and managed to sort me out here. The studios is now glittering and working perfectly. We will see you next week, Zimbabwe. You have had it here. I think the trophy is going to Manchester, and Sekuris and Komatich are saying the trophy will be going to London. I don't care which London team takes it. Any London team is not going to win it. It's going to Manchester. And Mbudzi, Kono Mbudzi, I'll give them a God if it goes to London. And if it comes to Manchester...
yako yakanaka shamwari vanomira nevashakawo mavangani vanokudwira mumatambudziko vangani vasingazokureve usipo vangani saka tsvaka yako yakanaka shamwari muupenyu dziva wekutamba naye aikona kuzoyeuka pave paye wazoviringwa newaunenge unaye kuzoyeuka bako mvura yanaya kare wozotema kuti ndiyandiparira dzimwe chamwari dzinoda kutongwarira anofara kutoona uchiyuwira ozouya pedyo kunganoda kukuyamura vanomira nevashakawo mavangani vanokudwira vanokudwira mumatambudziko vangani vasingazokureve usipo vangani saka tsvaga yako yakanaka shamwari vanomira newe zvakaoma vangani vanokudwira mumatambudziko vangani vasingazokureve usipo vangani saka tsvaga yako yakanaka shamwari anofara kutounochitambura tsvaga shamwari kwayo nozokuyamura paunotema paya nokubvumbamera azombokusiye pasi uchiwira musodzi pamatama anokupukuta zvamunotaura patenyu anopumbata azoende kune vana chigwauta shamwari yemachokwadi isiri yekututa aripo here ane ndoro chena wandingakwanisa kumenshena paruzhinji ndisingambokomblena chimwe yazviri kuextena vanomira newe zvakaoma vangani vanokudwira mumatambudziko vangani vasingazokureve usipo vangani saka tsvaga yako yakanaka shamwari vanomira newe zvakaoma vangani vanokudwira mumatambudziko vangani vasingazokureve usipo vangani saka tsvaga yako yakanaka shamwari muupenyu ziva wekutamba naye aikona kuzoyeuka pave paye wazoviringwa newaunenge unaye kuzoyeuka bako mvura yanayakare wozotema kuti ndiyandibarira chinge chamwari chinoda kutungwarira akuvara kuzoaurira wazouya pedo kunganoda kukuramura